Hey fellas, and welcome to a different video. I wanted to make this today because 1, I love Spider-Man Blue, and 2, I kind of want to shift the focus of this channel to more comic book, nerdy related type stuff. So yeah, I wanted to give you guys a taste of what's to come. So without further ado, let's jump into one of my favorite comics of all time, Spider-Man Blue.
Spider-Man does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size, catches thieves just like flies. Look out, here comes the Spider-Man.
Made by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, who worked together on other comics in this series about the loss of a loved one, Spider-Man Blue is about Peter Parker reliving falling in love with Gwen Stacy on a Valentine's Day night. That didn't... okay. He tells their story through a series of tapes, which he knows she'll never hear, but thinks that someone someday should know their story. Throughout the 6-issue miniseries, we see Spidey fight off numerous villains like the Green Goblin, Kraven, the Vulture, Rhino, etc., while simultaneously getting closer to Gwen. We also get to see how Pete meets Mary Jane, and we get to see her dynamic with Gwen, which we have yet to see in a movie or anything. Anyways, the book starts off with Spidey fighting Gobby Green in an abandoned warehouse. After they tussle, Norman presumably loses all memory of the Green Goblin and Spider-Man's identity, which he did know at this point. From there, we see Peter buy a motorcycle to impress Gwen, get closer to Harry Osborn and his friends, and fight some of his fiercest foes. One of the eras of Spidey comics that I love the most is this early run, the one with Steve Ditko and then a little bit later John Romita Sr. This series captures that era perfectly, in a way that makes you feel warm and fuzzy inside, while also being a story about a man grieving over the love of his life. Most of the series is narrated by Peter in the present, giving further context to these previous issues, and changing them in a way that's really refreshing and emotional. To this day, this is the only comic book to ever make me cry. It's baffling because we never, see Gwen die again. We never see anyone die. It's just a man in his basement coming to terms with the fact that he's lost someone. Whenever someone asks me where they should jump into Spidey comics, I tell them, read this series first. I don't tell them to start at the beginning with Amazing Fantasy number 15. I don't tell them to read the Ultimate Comics first. I tell them to read Spider-Man Blue first, because I feel it gives the reader a perfect sense about what this world is like and how Spidey comics are. So, if you've lost someone, whether that be a loved one or a pet, or you're just having a stressful time, pick up Spider-Man Blue. Lay down in your bed on a night that you can't really sleep and give it a read. I promise you, you won't regret it. Or not, whatever, it's your choice. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I apologize if it was a little short. I need to find a way to make these a bit longer or go into more detail. It's just kind of tough balancing going into too much detail or going into too little, so I promise I will get better at these. But I do kind of want to make this a series where I just kind of talk about some comic books that I like or dislike. So if you guys like that, definitely leave a comment below, leave a like, subscribe if you're new here, and as always, make someone smile today. Bye, guys.